Hi, I'm Rob, and in this video, I'll show you how to replace the motor and transmission on a Décor with LiteRise. So to conduct this repair, we'll need each of these components here depending on the size of the shade. We'll for sure need a motor lock and a transmission adapter. There's a black transmission and a red transmission, a gray, a beige, and a black motor. Things to understand about this transmission are, it's a D-rod drive transmission. The motor lock here, the motor, which is gray in this instance, the transmission adapter, and the transmission going into the D-rod. Start by removing the end cap on the end of the shade. Our shade is in the stacked position, so we've got all this cord going across. Depending on where the lift failed, the shade may be in some other position. Remove the screw here and remove our motor and our transmission. We're looking at the motor lock here on the end of the shade. Rock it out from the bottom and slide that motor lock right out of place. Grab onto that shaft with some needle nose pliers and rock that shaft out. And it can take a significant amount of force. If I have trouble removing this drive shaft, something I can do is go ahead and take a flathead screwdriver, stick it under the end of the transmission here, while holding onto the drive shaft with my needle nose pliers, and rock that shaft out of the transmission. Once it's loose, it comes out very easily. On the top of the transmission adapter, there's a little tab here that's going to tab over into the top of the motor here. On the motor, there's a tab here that's going to tab over into the bottom of the transmission. So it kind of interlocks in there and is held together. This system has 3 locking mechanisms on the system. There's one on the rotary spring here, the motor, and there's 2 on the transmission. Because of the limited space here in the headrail, I want to remove 2 of these locks here on the motor and transmission. Remove the motor lock. I won't be able to reach the bottom pin on the transmission, so I'm going to go ahead and remove that pin. Tilt that pin in the up direction. Make sure I put that end cap back into place. I don't want to go pushing on the drive shaft and then push it out the end of the shade. Before we install our motor and transmission, we want to set the length of the shade to the proper length. Pull the shade down, whether you hang it up or just hold it, to the down lowered position so that the ladders are fully extended. Go ahead and take the shade, lay it gently down on the table. We've left 1 single pin in our transmission here that's holding all of the spring tension and the transmission in place. Take some needle nose pliers here, and we're going to turn that shaft to line up with the transmission location. Slide the D-rod into the motor and transmission, stick our motor lock into place, and understand the motor lock is top and bottom specific. We have these pointed features here that go to the bottom of the headrail. Go from the bottom of the rail on up to the top and lock that motor and transmission into place. Tighten the locking screw here. Release the pin out of the transmission that's holding the energy of the shade. And as we release the pin, we're going to keep our finger here on the drive shaft. And what we're doing is we're controlling the raising of the shade. The last step is to return the other end cap into place and then take it up to the rack and check the length on the product. And that's taking a look at how to replace the motor and transmission for a 1-inch Décor shade.